This is Therapeutic Value. My name is Justin Spillis. If you're new, please subscribe to these videos. Remember to like this, and welcome, 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 welcome. So we're still new. It's a new channel, so we're gonna be doing some experimenting. Okay, I know you all know about experimenting. We're gonna read some Reddit posts. Um, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a counselor or anything, but I do have some experience. And being in recovery for the last couple of years has given me perspective um, that I feel like should be heard. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. So also today um, we're gonna be joined by my girlfriend Lisa. She's gonna be reading some Reddit stories with me and giving her perspective as a non-addict. So you get both sides of the coin. Hope you guys enjoy. Here we go.
Good.
Um, this one is how to support an addict as a loved one. I'm in a codependent and enabling relationship with my partner. I have been with him for many years, and this is something I'm just now coming to terms with. It is difficult, there is a lot of shame. I want to stop enabling, but I would like to continue being supportive and showing love. What would be the best way for someone to do this for an addict? I'm not going to give money anymore to pay for drugs. Yes, I feel a lot of shame for this. I was trying to protect him from being on the street and being abused by drug dealers. But I realize I have only hurt him in another way. But I would be willing to help pay for any treatment, therapists, or anything else to support recovery. I feel we are both in a desperate situation at this point. His physical health is being deteriorated badly. His mental health is not in a good state. And while I see he is desperately unhappy with his addiction, and it is something he has always been honest with me about, he can't seem to make that step towards recovery. He really has no support system besides me, and I just don't want him to fall through the cracks or end up dead. I'm trying to prioritize myself at the same time set boundaries, though, which is new for me.
Okay. All right. So I come from a very long line of addicts. The fact that I'm, clean and sober now, and my family's not, I understand where this person's coming from. So in my opinion, I know this is gonna sound kind of like a dickhead thing to say, but you got to cut that shit out. You have to stop enabling your loved one. So this person said something about being abused by drug dealers. That's gonna happen anyway. Every time a drug dealer sells to your boyfriend, they're abusing him, and it's gonna kill him. It's going to kill him. And how are you gonna feel whenever that $20 that came from your pocket is what kills him?
So she said she's not going to give him money anymore for drugs, which is good. But my question for her, I assume it's her. Well, whatever it is. My question for her is, does he care that he's being abused by these drug dealers? Does he care if he's living on the streets? You can't be the one who cares, right? If I've learned anything with trying to support an addict, not you, but with my, history and family that have been addicts, what I've learned is you have to let them fall, and you have to let them fall hard, right? So my advice to this person would be let them go, regardless of whether they have a support system or not, and just say, when you're ready to get help, come talk to me. I am here for you. When you're ready, you let me know. And I have said that to people. They called me, and the last thing I said to them on the phone was, the next time you call me, it better be for help. Don't call me for money again. And that was it. And you know what? the next time I heard about that person, they were in need of medical assistance, and although not great and the situation wasn't great, it put them on a path to be recovered and off drugs.
Yeah. So this person's not going to get clean with you helping them.
Absolutely not. If you're enabling a person, there's no way.
Yeah. It sucks to say it, but you're being used. This person may love you, but whenever drugs are involved, he loves that drug. He loves those drugs more. Before I got help, it didn't matter who you were. You were a target. And if I could find somebody that I could consistently get things from, that would consistently help me, I would take everything I could from that person. Everything I could from that person. And you just gotta, being the one as the enabler, you just gotta cut it off. Have to cut it off. If this person wants help, give them the option. Look, you can either leave and not ask me for shit. I could take you to rehab, treatment, or I'm walking away. That's the only way you're gonna help this person.
Agreed.
All right. Which one's next? Shoplifting. Okay, so this is one that I'm kind of a professional on. All right, so this person says, "Hey there. I'm not sure this is the right place to share this, but I feel like it falls into the category of an addiction, and was wondering if anybody has any advice or similar experience. I definitely have an addictive personality and my struggle with dependency. Recently, I've begun shoplifting small things which I'm not proud of. I've never taken anything large, but small items that I could afford to buy. The first few times, I was surprised at how easy it was and how great the rush was, and how great the rush was to getting away with it was. Today, I was stopped for the first time and felt so guilty. I'm hoping it was enough to realize this habit will not end great. Recently, I went through a very tough situation where I would steal food and drink items, but fortunately, I'm able to afford things now and would like to quit this dangerous habit. I think this tendency stems from an addiction to adrenaline, which perhaps an underlying mental illness, so treatment will definitely be something I want to pursue soon. Does anybody have any advice for stopping? I'm well aware of the dangers of shoplifting. Thanks." Okay, so when I was at the height of my my using career, the only way, because I didn't have anybody that I could get money from, I had to go and get it myself. So I was what was called a booster. We would go into stores and push full buggies out of these stores. And yeah, it starts small like any other addiction. I completely agree that shoplifting is an addiction, 100%. Getting caught that one time, if you're not suffering the actual repercussions, if you didn't go to jail, then you don't understand what it can really do. I ended up going to prison over shoplifting. Even my mom, I just had to bail my mom out because of shoplifting. So it is a slippery slope. It will get more and more and more. You go from the things you need to the things you want to the things that other people want, because it's such a rush that you end up being on someone else's radar that will be like a benefactor, and they'll pay for you to go and do this. I was there. I just the only way you're going to be able to do it is to not go to those stores that you've been shoplifting from. Order online. You say you can afford the things, so pay a little extra and get them delivered. It is a serious addiction. Every time I walked into a store, I had to steal something. I had to. It didn't even matter if I had everything I needed. I wasn't even there. I went to go get a Monster or a Red Bull. I was stealing that Monster or that Red Bull. I could have $100 in my pocket, and I'm walking out with not spending a dime. You just have to stop. There is no there's no recovery system for it. It's, you just have to quit. It's all willpower on this one. What do you think?
I think definitely getting help, like pursuing some type of therapy, is definitely the first course of action. I don't think cutting off going to stores totally is going to help though. Now you're just depriving yourself of going to stores and getting out and doing things. But I do think you bring somebody with you that you trust, that knows, that you talk to them, hey, like this is my thing. I just need to be able to learn how to shop without stealing, and have them hold you accountable. And stick to that, like buddy system. Do what you have to do. I had a friend that literally couldn't go to 3 malls in the area. And there's only 3 malls close to us. So, like, you know, within a decent driving distance, but was not allowed, was banned from all 3 of these malls. And that was before we had the ability to online shop like Amazon, right? So, you know, that's rough. Like, you literally aren't allowed in the mall. And the threat was tested multiple times, and multiple times she was kicked out of these malls because her stealing was so bad. My thing is, I feel like that rush, right, that rush you get from stealing, once that fades, because it will eventually go away, right? Eventually it's not going to be enough. And that is, for my friend, for that girl I was friends with back in the day, it went from her stealing from stores to stealing from people to using, hardcore using, like bad. Like, she dwindled down to nothing with between heroin, cocaine. You had it, she wanted it, she didn't care. You know, it was just not good. And now she's semi-clean, I guess, has a kid, you know. But she's always poor me now, because her life didn't turn out how she wanted it to, because she didn't get help from the beginning.
Yeah. So, if you're already addicted to adrenaline from stealing, don't try speed. That's my last bit of advice. All right. All right. I just want to do one small quick one. This person says, should I go to rehab? I'm not even going to read that. Yes, you should go to rehab. If you think you have a problem, you have a problem. If you are looking into rehabs, or other people are telling you maybe you should get help, I don't even need to read it. You need to get help. Save yourself. This girl's 17. Save yourself. Okay.
The next one we picked for today. I'm so embarrassed about what I'm addicted to that I can't tell anyone. There's been so many times where I wanted to reach out to a friend and tell the whole truth about what's happening to me, but I think everyone would just laugh at me. I've been addicted to Benadryl for 3-ish years. I think up to 20 every day, because I like how it makes me not have to deal with my brain. It sounds so stupid to say, because I assume most people don't know you can get addicted to over-the-counter medication. I'm so scared that they're going to brush it off and judge me for it. Edit. I think what especially made me nervous was the only person I told was my high school counselor. I was in his and the high school mental health counselor's office almost every day, because I got reported by several people several times about being suicidal. And when he asked if I used drugs, and I told him I was taking 6 to 7 Benadryl every day, so I didn't have to be awake, he basically ignored it and brushed it off.
All right, so you can absolutely get addicted to anything. It doesn't matter if it's cocaine or Benadryl. If you have an addictive personality and you hate what's going on in your head, if you need an escape, anything that takes you away, you can get addicted to. And I feel bad for this person, because it's one of the easiest things to get. Like, you don't have to call a drug dealer and wait for 2 hours and hope they finally show up. You could just walk to the store. I think the main ingredient in that is like what, diphenhydramine.
I think so.
Yeah, and me personally, I wouldn't be able to be addicted to it because I'm allergic to diphenhydramine. Benadryl makes me go crazy. But I have seen people whenever I was in prison, they would order the little packets of Benadryls and they would snort them. And I thought it was weird. I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? But Benadryl is absolutely something that you should get off of. You should seek help. If the people you're talking to aren't helping you, go to therapy. Find someone else. Go to an addiction counselor, an addiction specialist, something like that.
Right. I agree. Benadryl doesn't do that for me. I don't get sleepy. I get very wired. So I don't take Benadryl. I just take other allergy medicine when I need to. I can't see it. So I definitely wouldn't laugh at somebody if they told me that they were addicted to something, but also being embarrassed about telling people is not going to help you, right? So first of all, you have to, suck it up and let somebody know. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your aunt, uncle, I don't care. Tell somebody, and then the more you tell people or talk to people about it, the more you're going to be inclined to, hopefully get yourself help in that situation, right? It might not be a situation where they're going to put you in a rehab, but you obviously need some type of therapy, like real therapy, if you don't want to deal with your brain. Like, coming from an overthinker that sometimes can't shut down my brain, I get it. Like, for the longest time, even now sometimes I have to put meditation stuff on to go to sleep because I just need to try and not focus on things. So I get that. But you definitely need to deal with whatever reason you're not trying to deal with your brain. You have to deal with that first and foremost, because then once you deal with that, hopefully the Benadryl addiction will go away because you'll be more equipped to deal with what your brain's doing to you.
Yeah, definitely seek therapy, seek counseling, get help. All right, so I'm going to read one more and you got one more. All right, so how bad could this go? I'm falling for someone who I know is addicted to cocaine. They're working on it and knows it's a problem, and I'm confident they're going to get through it. All of that said, I never experienced addiction, and I don't know anyone aside from them who struggles with it. I've never seen what could happen. If anyone out there would be willing to share their horror stories and their warnings, I want to be able to make an informed decision and be prepared for how badly this could end. Run.
Right, like, okay.
Run.
So, in my 20s, I went on a date with this guy. And out of nowhere, he brought up the fact that him and his buddies do cocaine randomly. And I couldn't get past it. The kid was loaded. Not that money matters, but like, had I settled for that, had I been like, oh, okay, so every once in a while you guys do cocaine. Because at the end of the day, like, because of how normalized it sounded and how it was like, oh yeah, every once in a while I take Tylenol. It was just like too comfortable.
They were just nonchalant, just
right. And
hey, yeah, you want some soda, some cocaine,
yeah,
coffee,
you want some pretzels.
Yeah, what?
It was
cocaine.
Just too normalized for me, and I was like, that I couldn't get past that. I really couldn't get past that. It was one and done for me because I was just like, obviously at the time I was dealing with somebody in active addiction.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, it's not just every once in a while. That goes from every once in a while to all the time. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Because you get addicted to, maybe you're not addicted to the drug, maybe you're addicted to the feeling. Like, whatever it is, you're, in some capacity, it's going to get to be too much. It's going to be overused. And I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I didn't want to get into that. No, that's just...
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick by what I said. Run away
Right.
fast.
Yes.
If you already know that this person has a problem, you got to set some boundaries. You got to let them know, like, huh?
For yourself.
Yeah, for yourself.
Not for that person.
Yeah, not for the person. Set some boundaries for yourself. If they are using hard drugs, I don't care what they're bringing to the table. If they are getting high and it's a problem, because it's a problem, you don't need that in your life. All it's going to do is pique your curiosity. Okay? So, earlier in my life, I would, try to hide my addiction from people, and I was pretty good at it.
Addicts usually are.
Yeah, addicts are really good at hiding things until they're not anymore. So I was dating this girl, and I was, getting high in the bathroom. And finally, like, it just got to a point where I would have her take me to go get the drugs, and then she knew I was on the drugs, and her curiosity started to peak. Within 6 months, this girl was fully addicted to heroin, crystal meth. She lost her house. She lost her car and her kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to set boundaries for yourself, especially if you're clean. I mean, even more so if you are a recovering addict. But if you've never tried it or been an addict at all, like, definitely don't start there. Like,
If
you
you
need to
hang
hold
out-
yourself to a higher standard. You deserve better than, no offense, and I mean, you're a recovering addict, and I love you. But if it were a different situation in that type of scenario, regardless of how great you treat me, I deserve better. I deserve somebody that's not going to throw their life away to a drug.
Yeah. So you don't hang out in a barber shop for very long before you get a haircut. You just don't. So if you're hanging out and you're around that situation, that lifestyle, it's bound to happen.
Sorry, that scenario made me laugh. You're right. I mean,
All right, you got one more?
yeah. All right, hold on. I have to pull it up. I'm a functional cocaine addict, but I want to stop. Please help me. Hey everybody, I'm 24, married, I have 3 kids, and I've been using cocaine on and off.
Speak into the microphone.
Lately, since I finished probation, I started to use coke every 2 weeks, then every weekend, and now it's becoming an everyday thing. I can function without it, but as soon as I get off work, I go straight to my Connect. My wife does know that I use, but she doesn't know about me using almost every day now. Yesterday I did 2 grams, today I did another 1. The problem is that I can function perfectly fine with or without it, but I prefer to do it because I like it. I'm not grumpy all the time, I'm more patient with my kids, so it's hard to not want to do it. I know I'll suffer the consequences as time goes by, and that's what I'm scared of. My stepdad is a functioning alcoholic and drug addict. I don't want to stop talking to him, but I know I have to change people, places, and things. How do I start to get a hold of myself and my ability to have self-control?
Couple grams a day?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
A day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the potency, but that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. And I mean, yeah, cocaine is, it's not meth, so I can see how he thinks he's functional. I just don't see it. I don't see how you can do that much and be an actual functional member of society. People know. People know.
Well, his wife knows. His kids might not know, but
Oh, I guarantee his
back to the
employer
whole-
knows. I guarantee his friends know. They're just afraid to say something because they don't want to alienate the dude.
I go back to okay, so you're using because you want to be less grumpy. How about, and you can deal with your kids easier. Whoa. How
I
about
don't see that.
let's go back to Why do you not want to deal with your kids? Why are you so grumpy all the time that you need to be using to not be grumpy?
Yeah.
Like, start there. That's
the
what
underlying symptom. Yeah,
right.
there's
You have to. There's always. You may not think. This is what I would always ask. Why are you using? Why? What are you numbing? What are you trying not to feel? Do you hate yourself? Do you hate your life? What do you need to change for you to not feel what you were feeling? What do you need to change to, does it need to, I have a family member that they cannot live here in our state. They cannot live home. Why? Because it's a surroundings thing.
Yeah.
He'll come to visit, he'll come hang out for maybe a week. He will not stay longer than a week.
Yeah.
Usually it's only a couple of days he'll come here. He needs to be away from here. He's told me. He said, I cannot live there. It brings back too many memories and it puts me back in that state of mind. And he's been, I don't know, I want to say he's like 8 years clean now.
Yeah.
But it's still like I just can't be there. There's just something about there that really triggers me. And he's like, I know I have the willpower now to just remove myself from that situation, but you'd never see me commit to living there again because I just can't.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about my hometown. Down in Jacksonville, everyone I've ever known was getting high. Everybody in the neighborhood, everybody I went to school with, now that we're in our 30s, there are people who, a lot of them are dead, but the ones who have come to terms, like me, they've got some time, but they're not in Jacksonville anymore. Sometimes you have to change everything. You have to give up a couple of things that really aren't that important. Like, I really don't see that nobody notices. Like, I feel like everyone knows this dude's all skied up all the time.
Right. I mean, they know he just got off probation because I'm pretty sure your employer is going to do. Most companies do background checks depending on what type of work you're doing.
They need to do drug tests. Shit.
Well, right. But
I wonder what kind of work he's
that,
doing.
Right. Back to that. Like, first of all, seek treatment in any capacity.
Yeah.
Go to meetings. I mean, meetings I can see the effects being good.
Yeah. So I'm not going to push 12 steps on anyone, because anytime you would tell me what to do whenever I was in addiction, it would make me do the opposite thing. So whenever everybody in recovery was telling me, oh, you got to do the steps, I never ever made it through the steps. I struggled for years. And then finally something clicked and I was able to come to terms with what was really going on with me. So then I started, actually working the steps, working with a sponsor, going to meetings all the time. But at first, don't jump into anything if you're not 100% ready, because all you're going to do is let yourself down. I feel like if you know that it's a problem, that's the first step. That's first issue already taken care of. You need to make a change.
Right.
For your kids.
But you can go to meetings and not start the steps right away.
Yeah.
Right? You can go in there, you can listen to people's stories. It can be very eye-opening to listen up. In my opinion, I mean, coming from somebody that's just not an addict but dealt with addicts, right? So for me, it was very therapeutic for me to go to some of these meetings or join you at some of these meetings and listen to other people's stories to see that my family members aren't alone. You're not alone. You guys aren't alone. You have support out there. You don't have to do the steps, but going there and listening to other people and hearing what they struggled with and how they got through it, and hearing, things that they do to keep themselves busy or deal with it I think it's helpful, to surround yourself with people that want to do good and want to be off drugs is definitely a good step. Whether you start doing the 12 steps or not, you don't have to. You can just go there and listen and learn from other people and surround yourself again with people that want to be clean.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously some people are there because they're forced,
Lonely.
right?
There's forced people, there's lonely people, there's
Right.
people with crack addictions, coke addictions. There's people, I know a guy that is in recovery for marijuana. He smoked a lot of weed back in the day and he wanted to quit, so he started going to meetings, and it kept him from going and doing other drugs. He's been in recovery for like 13 years now, and he goes to meetings every day. I think it's, you know, not 100% because of his addiction, but I think it's because he's lonely. And, you know, being in recovery is a really good support system.
Right.
All right, so that is our show today. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Remember, like, subscribe, and thrive. All right, everybody.